Hi everyone, it's Jean from the Inky Owl Studio. Thanks so much for stopping by for a few minutes so I can share this time with you. Welcome back if you're a subscriber, and welcome for the first time if you just found me. I am going to be starting, excuse me, a new series, and I'm not sure what to call it yet as of this time that I'm recording it. I will probably come up with a name by the time I publish it. But the background of this series is that I am very fascinated by people's artistic process. I don't know if you remember, uh, quite a while ago, the Lord of the Rings trilogy came out. Um, I was just equally fascinated by the bonus material and where Peter Jackson went into detail of how things came together to create these worlds. Their rationale for doing designs in this way or that way, or putting the costumes together. How I just find this incredibly fascinating, and I'm as fascinated by it because I think it gives me ideas of how I can maybe tweak my um, creative process. I've gone on backstage tours of different productions and just kind of seen explanations of how their costuming and their uh, stage props were developed, and so this is fascinating to me. So I am going to take you along on my creative process, and I'm doing this, I'm putting it out there because I'm hoping that other people who are much better than me, who are better artists, will think about doing it themselves. And in everybody's process, there's going to be some similarities, but there's also going to be a lot of differences. And I'm just thinking it'll help inspire us as viewers to reconsider how we're doing things or whatever. So let's get started. So this particular journal that I'm working on kind of sprung from the fact that about a year ago, I was very intrigued by those Tim Holtz paper dolls. And I mean, I think we all have been. We've we've been intrigued by them, and I bought them. Um, and they were fascinating to me. I love the vintage look. I love the authenticity in these photographs that were, made into paper dowels. I loved it. But they have sat there for almost a year. And it's just like they've been, kind of brewing on the back burner. And every so often I think, oh, I'm going to get in there and do this. So I follow, and you need to check her out, Creative Cafe Girl. I think I got her name right. Yeah, Creative Cafe Girl. Susie. And I followed her for a while, and I love her vintage grungy style when she does that. I just really am so fascinated with it, and I've been a little intimidated because she does it so well. I don't know if I can at all equal her talent. But she had one that came out, and she used the Somerset magazine. And if you're not familiar with the Somerset magazine, it is it is a mixed media magazine. It's pricey, very pricey. I only buy those particular magazines that have stuff in it that I really find fascinating. And she is always, not always, but she often, like 3 or 4 times a year, will refer to an issue. And when she does, I go like, oh, that's the one I want, because it has something in there I know applies to me. So I have ordered the one that she used. I haven't gotten it yet. And I get mine on eBay. I think uh, this was a back issue that I purchased, and this one was $14.99, including shipping. The current issue, though, is going to be $16.99, and it includes free shipping. And on their site, it's like $1 less than what you can buy it on their site. So eBay is like a source you might want to check out. Anyways, and I will link this particular video that she had where she showed this beautiful vintage grunginess and how this particular artist, and I think it was the last name of the artist was Fong, Fong. inside that particular issue. It was called By the Book, I believe. And she would take pages from old books and she would just do this wonderful mixed media creation from them. And I won't go into detail at this point, but that got me going. It's just like it was like I can get this magazine, I can read and look at this at my leisure, which I really that really helps me in the process. If I can have something tangible to hold and look at, it just so helps me. And now I do get inspiration by watching YouTube, absolutely, all the time, and Instagram all the time. But there is something for me that helps when I have it a the actual product in my hand. It just really helps me. I guess I'm very tactile. I don't know. So I'm excited that I'm going to actually use these. Now, I also went through and I pulled out DigiKits that had some of that Tim Holtz grungy look. And these are some of the, I believe these here, now this is really cool, isn't it? It looks like a real old paper clip and it's just made out of paper. You know, you punch a hole in that and trust me, you think it's the real deal. These are from Nick the Booksmith and she has a series of these clips and labels. Then I have some odds and ends I've collected along the way. I have no idea where these came from. These here, I will link them below. I believe they're from Digital Collage Club, but they're old typewriter letters, numbers, of course. She has them in two sizes. This is the large. She has a real teeny size that goes along with the same digital outlet. So I will put those down below. I believe this is also from Nick the Booksmith. So I went through and I collected those. I collected some just old receipts that you can print off, and I can put down below where I got these old receipts. But these are things that I've had in my digital library, and I can't say I've really used them too much. I've used a little bit of them, but not as much as I should be using them. And so I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. I kind of like this. You know, this will be good to tear and rip and add stuff to it. Then I went through my stash of lace and fabrics, and I pulled out the ones that really have staining, just because they're old. They just got stained over time. And I don't know if you can see, I guess you can, yeah, you can see the stains on here. And I thought, I like that because, you know, it's okay to tea dye. I like tea dyeing, and I probably will add some tea dye to some of this. But I also just like uh, this random staining that just happens over time. You know, people spill something on there, or it gets in contact with something, or it yellows because of time. I like the natural occurring yellow aging on it. So I just pulled out, you know, a bunch of these things, and I pulled out a little bit of fabric in my scrap bag, and there's more than I need to probably pull out in the fabric area. But just kind of went through my stash and kind of like got these things going. This is really, really old. I love the way it feels. So I did that. I got those vintage things. And then I started thinking, well, you know, these are like elements for the journal, but what kind of a theme do I want to make for this journal? So another thing that has been on my mind for a long time is that I have all these old letters that I have saved. Some of these letters are letters that my husband wrote to me before we were married. Some of them come from my mother, who passed away. Oh, I was really young when she passed away. I was like 27. But I have saved some of her letters, some of my grandmother's letters, just old letters. I just have a whole stack of these that I've kept and love looking at them. And I thought, well, perhaps perhaps I might do a theme that kind of is has to do with old letters. And maybe I would make a journal to store some of these old letters in. So, I'm kind of like, kind of like that direction. I know that the Somerset author, she called it by the book. And if you can just look at the video I've linked, and within a few minutes you will see she shows you what the author's done. The author has taken book pages and like the title page or the page of the chapter and kind of played upon that as the background and then added elements to it. And I thought, well, maybe I can call this in my own head. I can call this by the letter, and just sort of focus on the writing, the handwriting, the letter aspect, the vintagey letter kind of thing. So that is the beginning and the sprouting of my inspiration for the next journal that I'm going to be working on. And this is just a short-lived video, and I'm not sure how many I'll be making in this vein, but I did want to share this. I feel that understanding and seeing the process of other artists is really important. And a lot of mixed media artists will show you their process, which is wonderful. I love seeing it. Artie Mays is really good at that. There's many people that are good at that, but there's not a lot of people who have taken, um, who have really just talked about how it evolved, how that journal evolved in the more personal, emotive fashion. I don't know how to explain that. And there's not enough of them. There's a few artists that do that. I think Diane H is really good at that. Um, Kind of showing, her how she makes her twists and turns and her directions as she puts something together. But anyways, I would like to see more of that. So I figured, well, if I put it out there, maybe other people will put it out there. And and maybe another reason not a lot of people do this is because talking about oneself is not, I don't know. I don't really like doing it. And sort of like, well, look at me. I'm so smart and I'm so artistic and I'm so wonderful. I mean, I don't want to put that impression out there at all. But I also know that there's probably people interested in the background of how something goes together as much as I am. So I'm just going to be doing this, along with my other videos, and I'm just going to put it out there. So thank you so much for viewing this little part one, this little section. And I'm excited to see how it's all going to unfold. Thanks a lot for watching, and make sure you subscribe so you can come along on this journey with me. Talk to you later. Have a crafty day. Bye.